For more than 4,000 years the name Babylon has echoed through history, sometimes as a symbol of brilliance, and sometimes as a warning of pride, power, and downfall. It was a city of impossible architecture, astonishing science, and rulers whose ambitions shaped entire civilizations. But behind the legends lies something deeper, secrets lost in broken clay tablets, buried beneath centuries of sand, and hidden in stories told by travelers who couldn't believe what they saw. Today, we journey into the heart of ancient Babylon to uncover its greatest mysteries. From the truth behind the Hanging Gardens to advanced astronomy that predicted eclipses centuries in advance. From kings who controlled empires through law and propaganda to the final plot twist that transformed Babylon's destiny. This is the story of a city that refused to be forgotten. Welcome to the secrets of ancient Babylon. Our story begins in Mesopotamia, the land between rivers. This region, nourished by the Tigris and Euphrates, was the birthplace of many firsts: writing, cities, mathematics, and empires. But among all those ancient powers, one city shone brighter than the rest: Babylon. At first, Babylon was little more than a modest settlement, but its location, right along the Euphrates, made it a hub for trade. Over centuries, that trickle of travelers, merchants, and storytellers turned it into a melting pot of ideas. And then, around 1792 BCE, a young ruler took the throne who would change everything. King Hammurabi wasn't born into massive power, he built it. Through alliances, strategic warfare, and diplomacy, he expanded Babylon from a city-state to a sprawling kingdom. But Hammurabi's true legacy is his famous legal code, the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest complete law codes in human history. Most people know it for the phrase "an eye for an eye." But here's the secret. The code was far more sophisticated than that. Many laws varied depending on context, class, and circumstance, and more importantly, it wasn't just a legal document, it was a political weapon. By publicly displaying the laws on tall stone pillars, Hammurabi legitimized his authority, unified diverse peoples under a common system, and created social order in a rapidly expanding empire. The code framed the king as a divinely approved judge, chosen by the gods to bring fairness to his people. In other words, Hammurabi invented government branding 3,800 years before the modern world. When you check your watch, divide a circle, or measure time itself, you're using a Babylonian secret. The Babylonians developed a base 60 number system, far more complex than the base 10 system we use today. Why base 60? Because 60 can be divided by so many numbers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30. This made it incredibly useful for trade, engineering, and astronomy. Thanks to Babylon, we have 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and 360 degrees in a circle. But the real mystery lies in how advanced their calculations were. On clay tablets discovered in recent excavations, researchers have found trigonometric tables, geometric calculations, and even early forms of calculus. Babylonian scholars were mathematically modeling planetary motion more than 1,000 years before the Greeks. And they did it without metal instruments, telescopes, or modern equations, just observation, logic, and clay. One tablet, known as Plimpton 322, includes Pythagorean triples, numbers used in right-angle triangles, long before Pythagoras was even born. Babylon wasn't just a city, it was an ancient data center. In Babylon, astronomy and religion were inseparable. High above the city's temples, priest astronomers spent night after night tracking stars, planets, and eclipses. Their job was simple: predict the future. These scholars recorded celestial events for centuries, creating one of the longest-running scientific data sets in human history. From their observatories, they charted the 18-year Saros cycle of eclipses, predicted the motion of planets, including Jupiter and Venus, developed early horoscopes, and interpreted the sky as messages from the gods. This is where astrology as we know it began. The zodiac, birth charts, planetary influences, all of it traces back to Babylon. But their work served a political purpose as well. If you control the future, even symbolically, you control the people. Temples weren't just religious centers. They were libraries, research institutions, banks, and administrative hubs. Through the stars, Babylon ruled both the heavens and the earth. One of Babylon's most iconic structures was its massive ziggurat, the Etemenanki, meaning house of the foundation of heaven and earth. Rising roughly 300 feet into the sky, it was one of the ancient world's tallest buildings. Many scholars believe it inspired the biblical story of the Tower of Babel, where humans attempted to reach the heavens, but the real secret isn't its height, it's its purpose. The ziggurat wasn't a temple for public worship. Only priests could enter its sacred upper chambers. It was a symbolic mountain, a divine bridge linking earth with the realm of the gods. But here's the twist. The ziggurat was rebuilt multiple times. Every king wanted to leave his mark on it, and we still don't know what its top chamber originally contained. Treasures, astronomical tools, or something else. What we do know is this: the tower wasn't built out of arrogance, it was built out of devotion and science. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, captured the imagination of ancient travelers with their emerald terraces, gravity-defying irrigation, and exotic plants suspended above the desert. But here's the secret that has baffled scholars for decades. There is no archaeological evidence that the gardens ever existed in Babylon. No inscriptions, no ruins, no irrigation systems. So, what happened? One leading theory suggests that the gardens existed, but not in Babylon. Instead, they may have been built in Nineveh by the Assyrian king Sennacherib, who described a marvelously similar structure in great detail. Did ancient writers confuse the cities? Was it a historical mix-up? Or were the gardens intentionally attributed to Babylon to enhance its legend? We may never know. But the mystery itself is part of what makes Babylon unforgettable. When King Nebuchadnezzar II came to power around 605 BCE, Babylon entered its golden age. To showcase its glory, he constructed one of the most spectacular monuments of the ancient world, the Ishtar Gate, covered in deep blue glazed bricks adorned with lions, bulls, and mythical dragons. The gate was a massive declaration of divine and political authority. But the secret of the Ishtar Gate lies in its design. Nebuchadnezzar wasn't just building architecture, he was crafting psychology. Every foreign visitor, merchant or envoy walked through this dazzling gate before entering the city. The message was clear: Babylon is powerful, Babylon is blessed by the gods, Babylon is eternal. It was ancient propaganda at its most beautiful. Babylon fell in 539 BCE to Cyrus the Great of Persia, but not in a dramatic battle. According to ancient accounts, the Persians diverted the Euphrates River, lowered the water level, and slipped soldiers into the city through its river gates. The city barely realized it had been conquered. But here's the secret: Cyrus didn't destroy Babylon. He respected it. He preserved its temples, its knowledge, and its scholars. Babylon's science and literature flowed into the Persian Empire, then into Greece, and eventually into the foundation of Western civilization. Babylon's walls crumbled over time, its gardens dried up, its palaces vanished, but its ideas, they survived. Babylon was more than a city, it was a beacon of innovation, a capital of science, astronomy, engineering, architecture, law, and myth. Its secrets shaped how we measure time, how we write laws, how we study the sky, how we tell stories, and how we imagine the past. The bricks of Babylon may be silent now, but the civilization they built continues to whisper through every clock, every city, every map, and every story we tell about human ambition. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient history, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and let us know which civilization's secrets you want to explore next. Until then, keep seeking the stories buried in time.